Today on Public Eye News, Ishpeming man arrested for possession of child sexually abusive material and flooding threat to persist into next week.
Brady Hinshaw will have a look at our weather forecast, and Max Stevens will have sports. Hi, I'm Mason Wallace.
And I'm Jillian Wormlinger, and this is Public Eye News. In Ishpeming, Rodney Wahlberg is charged with 5 counts of child abusive commercial activity and 5 counts of using a computer to commit a crime. The investigation revealed that Wahlberg has been downloading child sexually abusive material at his residence. His preliminary exam is scheduled for May 21st, and his bond is set at $100,000 on all counts. And an Iron Mountain High School freshman was found responsible last week for committing 4th-degree criminal sexual conduct. The verdict was announced on Thursday, April 18th by Judge Thomas Slagle following a one-day bench trial in the Circuit Court's Family Division. The name of the student is not being released at this time because he is a minor. The sexual assault happened on September 1st, 2018 at the Dickinson County Fairgrounds. The victim, a sophomore at Kingsford High School, was called by the prosecution along with several other witnesses.
Due to mild temperatures and the recent heavy rain, any remaining snow will quickly melt, causing water levels to rise. Meteorologist at the National Weather Service, Matt Zika, said there are still some pockets of significant snowpack on the ground in the highlands of the western UP, including Marquette. The Sturgeon and Paint River are forecasted to cause mild to moderate flooding. Zika also added that there are a lot of ditches and culverts full of water and possibly even water over some rural roads. Motorists need to slow down and be on alert for ponding on roads and never try to drive through water of an unknown depth. And things got heated during a Manistee City Council meeting Monday night with a packed turnout, with people standing in the hallway as well as outside. In February, the City Council began exploring an idea to create an economic development corporation for the city of Manistee, a role which is currently filled by the Schoolcraft EDC. The Schoolcraft EDC feels that the move would be a step back for business owners in the area. Supporters of both sides spoke during Monday's meeting, however, no decisions have been made yet.
Roy Nelson IV, the owner of 2 camper trailers that were burned down on Little Bay Day Knock in Rapid River, has been charged in Delta County District Court. Nelson has been charged with 2 counts of air pollution control violation. He is set for a pre-trial conference on April 30th. In March, Departments of Natural Resources Conservation Officers Steve Butson, Chris Lynch, and PCO Mike Olson responded to a complaint of several campers burning on Little Bay Day Knock. The COs contacted the owner of the trailer, who admitted he had started the fires, as well as several other individuals present at the scene. And 50 Geography 101 students braved the dreary weather to clean up Northern Michigan University's campus yesterday, where they picked up 100 pounds of trash in just 45 minutes. For these students, Earth Day is every day. All NMU students were invited to attend the student-run event. Dr. McConville's class isn't the only group celebrating Earth Week. Earth Day kicked off Bike Week at NMU to promote health and sustainability. And stay tuned. After this break, we'll be back with your national and international news.
3 decades ago in Pennsylvania, Frontline went inside the divide over abortion.
This is a life-size model of a...
Now we return to see what has changed on both sides.
We realized if we're ever going to outlaw abortion, that we have to be able to help women who feel that's their only alternative.
Because I'm a mother, I'm not supposed to be doing stuff like this, right? It's not that simple, though.
Some patients are like, I don't want to be doing this, but it is the right choice for me. Only they know what they should do.
Tonight at 10 on Public TV 13.
Welcome back. Not even the fastest bird on Earth can escape mercury contamination, according to one Nevada wildlife researcher. The very toxic element is showing up in feathers of peregrine falcons from coast to coast, including the ones present at the Lake Mead National Recreational Area. Wildlife biologist Joe Barnes has tested 700 individual peregrines in southern Nevada, Washington, Maryland, and the Gulf Coast of Texas. Barnes said, quote, every single one of them was impacted regardless of whether they live in wide open desert or Lake Mead or coastal British Columbia, end quote. Barnes said peregrines are a great determination of overall ecosystem health because they live on every continent except Antarctica, and they consume a wide variety of species, including bats, hummingbirds, and Canadian geese. And the chorus of calls to impeach President Trump is growing louder within the Democratic Party, but Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi is urging caution. Natalie Brand has the latest from Washington.
Some Democrats, including presidential candidates, say Congress should begin impeachment proceedings against President Trump. Special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation outlined 10 different incidents that could be viewed as evidence of possible obstruction of justice.
If any other human being in this country had done what's documented in the Mueller report, they would be arrested and put in jail.
I believe Congress should take the steps towards impeachment.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says she's not there yet, telling party members on a conference call Monday, we don't have to go to articles of impeachment to obtain the facts. On CBS this morning, Republican Senator Mike Lee said it would be a mistake for Democrats to try and remove the president from office with the 2020 presidential election around the corner.
When you impeach, you often end up unwittingly strengthening the executive branch and strengthening the executive in office at the time.
President Trump has repeatedly brushed off talk of impeachment.
Are you worried about impeachment, Mr. President?
While the president does not appear concerned, Democrats want to hear from former White House counsel Don McGahn. Jerry Nadler, the chair of the House Judiciary Committee, has issued a subpoena for testimony and documents from McGahn, who Nadler described as a critical witness to many of the alleged instances of obstruction of justice. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington, D.C.
Washington appears set to become the first state to allow a burial alternative known as natural organic reduction, an accelerated decomposition process that turns bodies into soil within weeks. The bill legalizing the process, sometimes referred to as human compositing, has passed the legislature and is headed to the desk of Democratic Governor Jay Inslee. If signed by Inslee, the new law would take effect May 1st of 2020. The measure's sponsor, Democratic Senator Jamie Petterson of Seattle, said that the low environmental impact way to dispose of remains makes sense, especially in crowded urban areas. Washington state's cremation rate is the highest in the nation. Petterson's bill also would authorize the use of heat, pressure, water, and chemicals like lye to reduce remains to components of liquid and bone similar to cremated ashes that can be kept in urns. And the Supreme Court is hearing arguments today over a question about U.S. citizenship it wants to include the 2020 census. Nicole Killian is at the Supreme Court to explain what both sides are arguing and why the justice's decision could impact all of us.
Demonstrators chanted outside the Supreme Court in protest against the Trump administration's attempt to question the citizenship status of everyone in the U.S. Inside, justices are listening to arguments about whether the proposed citizenship question in the 2020 census violates law and is unconstitutional.
I mean, he wants to know who's in this country, and I think as a sovereign nation, we have that right. It's been a question that's been on the census for decades, but we'll wait and see how the Supreme Court rules.
The government argues that including the question will help enforce the Voting Rights Act, while critics say the question will deter non-citizens from filling out the census, resulting in a massive undercount. One government estimate says 6.5 million people would avoid answering the census if the citizenship question was included.
Just to put that in perspective, it would be like if our 18th largest state just went poof.
Whichever way the justices rule in this case could impact all Americans. That's because the census count dictates how many members of Congress represent each state and where the federal government sends billions of dollars in funding.
States all across this country will lose resources, federal resources, as a result of an undercount.
In a lower court ruling against the census question, U.S. District Judge Jesse Furman wrote, Texas, Arizona, Florida, and plaintiffs New York and Illinois face a substantial risk of losing a seat in the next congressional reapportionment because of the addition of a citizenship question to the 2020 census. Nicole Killian, CBS News, Washington.
And after this break, we'll have your weather and sports. Stay with us.
On Breakthrough, the airplane fulfilled one of mankind's biggest dreams.
This is the one that they figured out how to fly on.
But how we got there is a story of amazing innovations.
It was a leap in our understanding.
And unlikely surprises.
A child's discovery that no one was expecting.
Explore the unbelievable revolutions.
We had an idea that would transform flight.
That took mankind to the skies.
Wednesday at 10 after Nova on Public TV 13.
And welcome back. I am your weatherman, Brady Hinshaw, and behind me is a beautiful NMU campus with some green grass and some blue skies to follow along with it. And looking at our current conditions, I can see so far that it is sunny with a temperature of 44 degrees and winds out of the north-northwest at 19 miles an hour and a barometric pressure of 30.07 and rising. Looking at tonight, we have partly cloudy skies with a low of 35 and winds out of the west at 10 miles an hour. Looking at tomorrow, we have some more partly cloudy skies with a high of 66 and winds out of the southwest at 12 miles an hour. And looking at our beautiful UP, it's pretty beautiful as it is 45 and cloudy in Sault Ste. Marie and 43 and partly cloudy in Manistee and 51 and sunny in Escanaba. And looking at our western half, it is some more sun with 56 and sunny in Menominee, 54 and sunny in Iron Mountain, 51 degrees and sunny in Ironwood, 46 and sunny in Houghton, and 44 degrees and sunny in beautiful Marquette. Looking at our week ahead, we have Thursday with a high of 60 and a low of 39 and partly cloudy. Friday, a high of 49 and a low of 32 and partly cloudy. And Saturday, a high of 40 and a low of 33 and cloudy. Well, Max, the weather is sunny, but it's a very sad story out of Detroit, I hear.
Hard to feel depressed on a day like this, Brady, huh? The Milwaukee Bucks completed their sweep of the Detroit Pistons last night with a 127-104 win in Little Caesars Arena to advance to the second round. The Bucks were led by Giannis Antetokounmpo, who posted a new playoff career high 41 points in the Game 4 win. The win for the Bucks marks their first playoff series win since 2001, when the team was led by a young Ray Allen. The Bucks now look ahead to their second round matchup against the Boston Celtics, who swept the Indiana Pacers to advance to the second round. The Celtics were responsible for eliminating the Bucks in the first round last year. However, this series will feature some new faces, as the Bucks added veterans Brook Lopez, George Hill, and Nikola Mirotic, while the Celtics' Gordon Hayward and Kyrie Irving were sidelined for the series last year with injuries. The Phoenix Suns fired head coach Igor Kokoskov last night after only one season on the job. The Suns made the move at this time to join the pursuit of Philadelphia 76ers assistant coach Monty Williams as a head coaching candidate. They joined the LA Lakers in competition for Williams. Whoever is hired as the Phoenix Suns' next head coach will be the franchise's 7th coach in an 8-year span. The Suns finished tied with the Cleveland Cavaliers for the second worst record in the NBA this season at 19-63. Only the New York Knicks were worse at 17-65. The Suns, along with the Knicks and Cavs, have a 14% chance to land the top overall pick, which is almost guaranteed to be Zion Williamson come June 20th when the NBA draft begins. And as the NHL playoffs continue, last night saw the Dallas Stars eliminate the Nashville Predators in 6 games, courtesy of an overtime goal from John Klingberg to win last night's contest 2-1. The Carolina Hurricanes also forced a Game 7 with a 5-2 victory over the defending champion Washington Capitals last night as well. Tonight we'll be treated to 2 more Game 7s as the Toronto Maple Leafs and Boston Bruins will wrap up their first-round series in Boston, while the Vegas Golden Knights take on the San Jose Sharks in San Jose after the Sharks won Sunday night's double overtime thriller 2-1 to force the 7th game. Puck drops for the Maple Leafs and Bruins at 7 p.m., while puck drop for Golden Knights at Sharks is at 10 p.m. And with that, that's all the time we have for you today. Thank you very much for joining us on this edition of Public Eye News. We'll see you all tomorrow.
The preceding program was produced in studios located in the Edgar L. Hardin Learning Resources Center by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television.